Hello, hello. Decided to jump on here again. I guess I am getting a little bit more comfortable with these lives these days. So sometimes me and the baby, I'll just put him in a car so that we can get out the house and we'll drive around a little bit. So, and I'm going to sleep. I'm going to have to wake him up. So I'm just tagging a few folks. So I had, so the reason for me getting on today, hey Darnell. See, I got my shades on. I might take it off at some point, but I'm just trying to be, cool. I was having a really good conversation with one of my friends, and we were talking about how when you get out of a traumatic relationship or abusive relationship, how sometimes you don't realize that even though you've left, that trauma is still blocking you from your blessings, basically. And it sounds so simple, but I can think back to a time where I've worked with people who revealed in passing or whenever that they had abusive upbringing or an abusive parent. And initially, you kind of, you feel badly for them and you're like, wow, that's crazy. I'm sorry you dealt with that. But then they have behaviors that are abusive in the workplace. They're yelling at people, they're dismissive, they're rude, they're nasty. And then when you call them out on it, they might say something like, I'm sorry, in the past I was, this is how I was treated growing up, and it's just hard for me to learn how to speak to people. And, initially it might be like, okay, I'm still pissed at how you spoke to me, but, your upbringing was a bit crazy. But after a while, you're like, okay, why aren't you doing the work to deal with it? It doesn't give you the permission to treat someone any kind of way because you were mistreated growing up. And then on the opposite side of that, you can get out of something, and because maybe it was an abusive relationship. Hey girl. Maybe you have children with that person, so that attachment is not a clean cut attachment or detachment. I'm sorry. And you're spending so much time still picking up the pieces after that relationship has ended. So you're still spending so much energy and whatever it is that you're putting in, let's say making sure the kids are good. Maybe there's pieces, if it's a divorce or something, maybe there's something involved with that you're still working on and you're still putting your energy on and focusing on, and it's making you tense and anxious. And without knowing it, that trauma, that traumatic past is now blocking your blessings. Like, we can keep things from coming to us because our energy is so off and so negative and so tense. Like, how many of you know that even if you're anxious, so you may not be mean to other people, but if you have a lot of anxious energy or a lot of like stress and things like that can still block you from stepping into abundance or from fully healing. Like, do you realize that? Like, the conversation, and please, this is not planned or anything, so I'm just jumping on here, just sharing my thoughts on that. It is so crazy how unresolved trauma affects you in so many ways. When you're in the relationship, you can blame that. This guy is all in my life. When you're in the relationship, you can blame that other person for why blessings aren't coming your way, or why, you can't keep money, or why you're always sad or always stressed or whatever. But what happens when you get out of that? Like, how long are you going to continue to blame that other person? Yes, they did something terrible to you, but at what point do you then say, okay, I'm going to take ownership of that past trauma, and I'm going to do the work to resolve that past trauma? At what point do you get to that point of, because people only have so much compassion for a person who came out of an abusive relationship, was raised in an abusive home. My doors are, I know that's right, my doors are locked. People have so much compassion for that. And it's not to say that what you went through is not a bad thing. You know, it's not to say that you deserve to go through what you went through. We're not saying any of that. But what we're saying is the woe is me only works for but so long. Got my coach on here. Hey, coach. It only works for but so long. Because we have to, at some point, take ownership of our own healing. And it starts with you. The person who traumatized you, who abused you, is not going to help you heal. You're going to help yourself heal. And we're carrying these baggages around because we haven't done the work to heal. And we're not realizing that our energy is attached to the baggage. So it's so like, I always say we are spiritual beings having a human experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. You can believe that. You cannot believe that. That is my belief. And with that being said, we can be carrying around our demons and people see them. Sorry, I got disconnected for a second. People see when you're stressed, when you're anxious, when you're worried. They can even, forget this, they can feel it. I've heard people say, I don't want to be around such and such because she just feels sad. You know, and when I'm around her, I just feel sad. It's just not, you don't feel good. And we have to be careful not to take that trauma and allow it to attach itself to us indefinitely. We have to learn how to shake it off. It is so important to learn how to shake that trauma off. Because if you are a leader in the workplace, you can turn around and use that same trauma on your employees. How many of you have worked with someone who comes to work, maybe they're crying, maybe they're mean, maybe they're, just nasty towards you. And you might know, oh, yeah, this person is going through a divorce. This person is dealing with something at home. Does it make it okay that you're on the receiving end of their harsh treatment? No. And they're still going through something traumatic or something life-changing and shifting that energy and all of that. But when you're on the other end of receiving that abuse, you don't care what they're going through. And it might be hard to hear that. It might be hard to hear that your trauma is yours. As a community, yes, we should all be responsible for uplifting and healing each other and being supportive. But that also, you have to have some muscle as well. Because everyone is going through their thing. So you have to get to the point of being like, you know what, I'm going to do the work. I'm going to do the work and I'm going to heal. Because we can become, and I hope I'm not offending anyone, but I'm going to say it anyway. We can become comfortable being uncomfortable. And it becomes a blanket and it becomes a protective layer. Because we're getting some kind of attention from that. You see someone, how you doing? Well, I'm blessed. I'm making it. I'm by. I'm trying to get through. Oh, what's wrong? What's happening? Well, the same thing with such and such is happening, but I'm going, people don't want to hear that all the time. We have to get, aren't you tired of saying it? Aren't you tired of saying that? Another thing that me and my friend talked about is when you get out of something and you get out of an abusive relationship, you have, maybe you experienced some childhood trauma, molestation, whatever have you. And in your mind's eye, that person who victimized you never got what was due to them. In your opinion, right? It seems like they're getting away with all the stuff that they've done to abuse you. And I'm going to take my glasses off so you guys can see me. We have to understand that just because we don't see someone's demise, just because we don't see someone's, and my eyes are red, I have no idea, but I wasn't crying, I promise you. Just because we don't see that someone has experience their quote unquote trauma, or karma, doesn't mean that they aren't getting it. They lied to you to keep you in that abusive, manipulative relationship. Why do we now think that they're not lying about not being hurt, about not feeling the pain, about not feeling the karma that was due to them? Sooner or later, everyone sits down to a table of consequences, whether it's good or bad. Everyone is going to sit down to it. Do not burden yourself with worrying about why your abuser, why your offender, why the perpetrator has not received their due justice, because we don't know. You don't know. You're not there. If you detached yourself, which you should have, you're not there. Anyone can get on Facebook and say that they are having a life of abundance and everything is great and perfect. Social media has made it very easy to lie and pretend. We don't know what people are going through, but we're attaching our want and our desires, and I've done it before. We're attaching our wants and desires for that get back, not realizing that it's burdening us as well. We're just adding that on to the trauma wagon. There's so many layers to trauma, so many layers. And I'm seeing all you guys putting all the comments on here. There are so many layers to it. It really looks like I'm crying, so I'm going to put my glasses back down. But yeah, I just wanted to get on here. This is real impromptu. As I said, baby is sleeping. I'm going to have to wake him up because I got some stuff to do. I don't like when he sleeps when I'm not at home. I need my nap time. That nap time is for me, okay? But I just felt like, shameless plug, I put up a post on tapping into your intuition, and this is something I take my own advice. So when I feel the urge and the need to spread a message, I'm learning to do that because someone needs to hear it. And if you're not sure how to release trauma, how to truly heal from that and truly detach from because trauma is not just the person. I think we forget that. I think we attach trauma, we attach it to a name. He did this to me. She did this to me. Therefore, the trauma is attached to that person. Trauma is a bundle package. Trauma is Comcast with the long distance planning, the internet connection, the cable service, the DVR. Trauma is a bundle package. If you are not sure how to unpack that bundle, please contact me. And I put my information in here. www.directingpaths.com. Contact me. Let's schedule a clarity call. Let's talk about how to unbundle the package of trauma. We don't need you to be detaching from a situation and still being traumatizing in your workplace, traumatizing in church, traumatizing in your family. Just because you were mistreated does not give you the right to mistreat others. You can be blocking your own blessings. Let's talk about how to unblock your blessings. Let's talk about that. If you haven't noticed by now, I put my business information all over my personal page because my personal life and my home life is now colliding. I put it on, Directing Paths as well. I have a page for that. But contact me. I would love to talk to you. The clarity call will cost you nothing. If we're a great fit, awesome. You're going to have me as a coach working alongside you, making sure you get to that level. If we're not a good fit and that there's someone else who might be a good fit, maybe I can do a referral. Not a problem. No feelings lost. But once you understand the importance of unpacking the bundle, the trauma, once you understand how you can be blocking your own blessings and your own clarity and your own past, you'll understand the importance of what I'm saying to you. So thank you all for listening in. Like I said, I'm in my car with the baby, so I'm going to head back home so that I can get some work done. Not sure why I'm sniffing. I have allergies. I don't have COVID, I promise you. But thank you guys all for tuning in. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I just felt so led to to share this, because when it hit me, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a moment. I had to, I was doing a kind of little, it's so real. Like, you can really detach yourself from a traumatic relationship and never detach yourself from the trauma. That's crazy, but it's so real. All right, so I'm gonna go along with my day. I'm waiting to hear from you. If this applies to you, do not be ashamed, because so many of us have, I have experienced it. So many of us have. Do not be ashamed. So if this resonates with you, let's chat. Let's have a conversation. Unless you're comfortable with your baggage, if you want to put it down for a second and figure out how to keep it down, let's talk. All right, have a great day.